That is right, folks. Welcome back to Can I Be Frank? We've got many things to talk about today. One of them being that the Muppet Show is coming back. Oh yes, stay tuned. Yes, welcome back to Can I Be Frank with your host. Oh, never going to tell you my name, it's a secret. Okie dokie, today we've got some incredible news that will hopefully absolutely mind-boggle your boggles. So, I don't see why we should stand around and wait for anything to happen. Let's just get into it. Let's get into the deep end, throw ourselves into the deep end, as people like to say. Today we will be talking quite simply about one of the most incredible pieces of news, if you are a proper Muppet fan, not a fake one, a real one, about the Muppet Show pilot that is being made as we speak and will be released in 2026, featuring Sabrina Carpenter. So that's probably the worst part, if we're being honest. Sabrina Carpenter, I don't know her music, I don't really know who she is. She looks a bit like a doll, but anyway, we're going to ignore that, because what we care about the Muppets. That's what we care about. My cat is looking at me. Hello, cat. Meow or anything? No? Okay. Right, yes, the Muppet Show 2026. This, we've been told that this is simply a pilot, and if this pilot is successful, we might get the Muppet Show, like a full series on Disney+, just like the old days. Now, about the Muppet Show Series 6, that's truly quite a thing to think about. The Muppets, there's quite a lot of things going on in the world of Muppets at the moment. We've got a few rather large topics, if we're being honest here. Quite a few. It would be amazing if I could talk about all of them in one episode, but we can't, because I'm trying to keep it short. So, we can talk about the photos that have been released, because this is truly exciting. We've got two photos that currently, as I am recording this, two photos that have been released for the Muppet Show pilot featuring Sabrina Carpenter in 2026. One of them being a Muppet Show logo design that we can assume will be the one that they use in the intro. It is almost identical to the original Muppet Show sign. It is currently white and got beveled edges with a roundness to them, a lovely, nice white sheen. But it is just the old Muppet logo, a good old white one with a nice red curtain behind it. I think this is just to catch the viewer's eye before we hear any more about it, because to be honest, I don't think they're going to use this, in the old-fashioned introduction to the show. I don't think they're going to drop the old introduction. It's too iconic to drop coming through the O, saying it's the Muppet Show. I don't think they're going to drop that. So when they keep it, I hope they don't use this white logo, because it doesn't have the Muppet charm that it needs. And sure, you can make an argument that it's more modern or whatever, but white doesn't mean modern. Why does everything just turn white? Right, so, and the second little piece of photography media that we have related to this pilot is an incredible photo of a blurry backstage with a in-focus Kermit the Frog mug on his original desk. It's a perfect replica. You can see a beautiful looking stapler to the left of the mug, and behind you can see some of the wardrobe, that's not what I mean, one of the doorways. Miss Piggy's dressing room is open, as we can see in the background. That's pretty cool to see that. I'm surprised that they leaked the set already, so we know that they've kept the set, from what we can see, incredibly accurate to the original one, which is pretty cool. Yes, so this is all incredibly exciting. We know that, the build-up to this news, I've personally noticed some Muppets being rebuilt. Now, I cannot claim I know this 100 bajillion%, because, well, it's not officially been announced at all, or I don't think it will be announced, but it's not officially been spoken about. It's just my opinion, and I reckon I'm correct. Why? Because I think I'm correct. That we reckon that we've got a new Kermit that's been built, a new Gonzo. These ones can be seen on the YouTube. If you look, they've been doing some YouTube things. They did a thing with Mark Rober, Gonzo, and Bunsen and Beaker look like they've been rebuilt as well. I also think Pepe's been rebuilt, as I mentioned in one of my previous vids. Pepe's done this interesting thing, you see. Pepe, he's got more fur on his neck. His head is permanently tilted a little bit to the left from the viewer's point of view. And his pupils are smaller than the previous puppet. And the feathers on his head look much more new, and the movement of the mouth looks a bit less smooth, making me think that it's a new puppet, because, you know, you got to give it time for the puppet to be fully where it should be in terms of its movement. They don't get smooth over a day or overnight. That's what I meant to say. I'm just assuming these things, but I think I'm right. One that I'm almost 100% sure of was, if you check Facebook and Instagram, you can see that they've posted a little thing with Animal against a plain background. And Animal, he has definitely been rebuilt since his Muppets Mayhem rebuild, because if I don't know if I can get it up on here, so I can describe it better if I see it in front of my eyeballs. The Muppet Show Instagram. That's not worked. Anyway, if you look at that post, you can see that Animal's eyes are a lot more ovally. They've been not squished. I don't think they've been changed at all, but I think it's just the placement on the head has made it look quite a bit different. We've got Animal's eyes slightly stretched out a bit more, and if you look at the Muppets Mayhem build of Animal, there's a good amount of pink feathers in there. Pink ostrich feathers, but there is a lot more pink ostrich feathers on this new build that I believe has been rebuilt. Okay, I've said it there. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Okay. So yes, there you go. That's quite interesting indeed, in my opinion. Now, something we can talk about here. If you go on IMDb and you search up upcoming projects, or you just search up a Muppet performer's name and then you click on upcoming projects, when you look at their credits, you can see who is working on the Muppet Show and who they are playing, giving away some of the characters that will be shown on this show. And it's in extensive detail, as I noticed as soon as I read, like, Chip the IT guy and Bubba the Rat, things like that. Okay, so we know that we've got some proper in-depth things here. Now, when we look at these characters list, look it up for yourself, if you want to see. If you look at these character lists, we can sort of see which ones are going to be in the show, and it makes me want to guess who's going to be rebuilt, because I think the puppets, they don't get rebuilt anywhere near as much as they used to. They get refurbished, some do get rebuilt, some characters get new parts added to them and taken away to add to their longevity, but puppets, over time, they break. And we've seen this very clearly, and the Muppets have been a bit lazy, most prominently with characters like Fozzie. He hasn't been rebuilt for ages, longer than some human beings have lived. And we've seen it with Bunsen Honeydew. Before he was rebuilt, about a year ago, I reckon, he had a split mouth. His mouth was ripping at the parts on the side, like there, you see? You can't see because it's a podcast. But his mouth had been ripped completely, exposing the foam and the flocking technique to build it. It was not a very good look. So, as this is quite a big thing that's going to happen for the Muppets, who are they going to rebuild? When I look at this list, I think they're going to rebuild Miss Piggy. I believe they're going to rebuild characters like New Zealand, Crazy Harry, Waldorf and Statler, and I pray that we get a rebuilt Fozzie Bear, because I don't think anybody likes the Fozzie Bear that they use at the moment, including Eric Jacobson himself, who, fun little fact, got his baby to drool on Fozzie's fur to make it look more like it should be. Basically proving that Fozzie's Fozzie's fur looks crap. So yes, and then hopefully he won't have grey eyebrows anymore. And you can go, well, he's always had sort of greyish eyebrows. All right, but he hasn't had this layer of grey. It's ridiculous. He does just look like a toy. So I hope they rebuild him. If you watch like videos of him, the same puppet, right? His head has slowly deformed into more of a cone shape. Slowly. This the same puppet, not being rebuilt. Slowly reformed into a cone shape. It's clearly getting harder to use for Eric, because you look at the way that it's being manipulated. Eric's doing a fantastic job. Nothing against Eric. He's incredible at what he does. But the nose is sort of slanting to the left a bit, and it's just annoying. And also, I truly believe that there are people online who post their replicas of Fozzies that genuinely, in my opinion, do look better, right? And I'm going simply off of photos for some of these, not videos, right? And I'm talking about one or two that I've seen online, okay? Phil Fletcher's his are very, very good. I mean, a little bit too perfect, his Fozzie. It's just a little bit too perfect, maybe not raggedy enough. But Terry Angus, he has, in my opinion, the perfect Fozzie Bear. It is perfect. Look at Terry Angus's stuff. His stuff is amazing. Yes. And it's really good. And I just hope that when, they rebuild these characters, maybe they ask people like Phil who understand how the fur should be made for Fozzie, and they can actually make one that looks like Fozzie from, whenever they're trying to make him look like from. That's also an interesting point. When they rebuild these characters, fun fact, they never, instinctively go off the last puppet that was made. When they rebuilt Gonzo in for the 2011 film with Jason Segel, they did not go off of the last Gonzo that was made. In fact, they kind of did a little bit of a thing like, which Gonzo are we going to go for? Showing how much he's evoluted through the years. So, they don't just go off the last puppet that was made. And the Gonzo that ended up being made was a little bit more like the ones from the earlier 90s with the shading and the colour of the nose, as it's quite clear influence. But also Gonzo got a lot bigger quite quickly. And I don't like Gonzo being that big. It's a bit annoying. But yeah, it's an interesting point. They don't just go off the last one that was used on TV. Sometimes they go off of older ones, and that's a point. When they're doing the Muppet Show, are they going to rebuild them and look at references from 1970s, or are they going to go for a slightly more modern look that's a bit more familiar to other faces? Obviously, they're never in a bajillion years going to go back to Miss Piggy's original look or Gonzo's original look from the 70s, because I don't think anyone would hold that. Because Miss Piggy, I mean, she looked like a pink marshmallow with drawn on fancy eyes, like stuff of nightmares, truly. Anyway, yes, it's interesting things to think about. But yes, I'm not going to criticise the new builds that we've seen already, like Animal, Pepe. I like them. I think they look pretty good, which hasn't always been the case. And what's even more exciting is the news that I don't think I'll be making a video about this because I don't have enough to talk about. So I'll drop it in now. The Muppets taking over Aerosmith's Rock and Roller Coaster in Hollywood studios. Woohoo! The Muppets will finally have a ride based off of them in a Disney park. This has not happened for a while. If you call Muppets Vision 3D a ride, I think you're crazy. It's not a ride because you don't go anywhere. But yes, they're going to get their own ride. Now, this is exciting. And we have been confirmed from Disney themselves that we will be getting a scooter animatronic in the queue line and 2 penguin animatronics. This is, as I record this is all we have got. So that, very, very interesting indeed. And who else? Maybe we'll get some other ones. I'm interested to see. Also, fun little thing in the queue line. They've released some Muppet concept art from the queue line, and the Muppet, the Electric Mayhem in the background, that you can see them there. They've used an old photo of the Electric Mayhem, and they've just put an old photo of Lips in there. Lips, from the 80s, I reckon. Which is just funny, because they've rebuilt all those Muppet characters, including Lips, and they take photos of them. They use a 10-year-old photo of the Electric Mayhem and a 30-year-old photo of Lips. It's just interesting how they decide to do things. I think it's fascinating, especially because they just took new photos of these puppets for the Muppets Mayhem series that came out in 2022. So it's all very interesting, if you ask me. Anyway, Muppets Mayhem 2022. I can't remember, 2023. Let's search it up. I don't want to get the facts wrong. I'm a fact nerd. Muppets Mayhem. When did it come out? 2023. There you go. I was 1 year off. Doesn't really matter. It wasn't that good in the end, anyway. Right. Fantastic. Anyway, I think we're going to finish it there. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back at some point talking about other Muppety things. Please comment on these things. Comment on them. If you think I'm wrong, tell me. If you think I'm right, tell me, because I've got no one else to do it, so thank you very much. We'll be back soon. See you later.